Right now at noon, Storm Team 29 is tracking dangerous flash flooding across central Virginia. We are live on the scene in Albemarle County, where rescue crews search for 2 people swept away by the waters.
Well, here we are.
Rushing rivers
Road.
and streams are overflowing their banks, washing out roads all across central Virginia, leaving damage in the wake.
And NBC29 is live in Greene County, where a mudslide on the mountain shut down Route 33. A shelter is set up for people impacted there by the floods.
Well, the atmosphere has rained itself out, but looks to reload shortly. I'll show you what to expect.
Live in high definition from the area's most experienced news team. This is NBC29 HD News at Noon.
Right now, crews are searching the Ivy area of Albemarle County for a couple swept away in the floodwater during last night's heavy rain.
Albemarle County's fire chief says the car was repeatedly tossed and overturned in that water. We are also receiving reports that crews on scene may now have recovered 1 body from that. NBC29's Taylor Gleason is live on the scene where this all took place and where that search continues. Taylor?
Yeah, well, Matt and Sharon, our partner, the Daily Progress, is now reporting that 1 body has been found near Ivy Creek. Of course, Fire and Rescue have not confirmed this information as of right now. Now, we're here on the top of Old Ballard Road here. This is as far as Fire and Rescue are letting us go so that we can stay safe up here, because the scene at the bottom of the hill is still very active with flooding waters and roadways now starting to break apart. Now, the Albemarle County Fire and Rescue says that Ivy Creek swelled over the roadway, grabbing the Prius and another vehicle around 9:30 last night. A man and woman believed to be Albemarle County residents climbed out of the Prius but were swept away with the water. The occupant in the second vehicle escaped and was rescued. Albemarle County rescue teams assisted with crews from Lynchburg and did locate the vehicle.
We were hit with multiple bands of heavy rain starting yesterday afternoon through the night, which caused a huge amount of public safety calls for service, including water rescue calls, which overwhelmed our local and regional resources here in the Albemarle-Charlottesville area.
Fire Chief Eggleston believes Ivy Creek stretched about 100 yards wide from that rain last night and says the incoming rain today could potentially do that again. Now, he also stressed for people living in flooded areas, do not drive through roadways today that are covered with water. It's for your own safety. Rescue teams are expected to remain here the rest of the day and continue to monitor the scene and hopefully, of course, find that couple.
Taylor Gleason live for us in the Ivy section of Albemarle County this afternoon. Thank you, Taylor. A search is also going on right now for a woman missing in flooding in Madison County. The sheriff's office there says it got a call around 8:30 last night with a report of a woman in the water who couldn't be found. Ruckersville Volunteer Fire Company was among the first responders called to assist with that. This is in the Syria area. Those crews say they were able to rescue 1 person who was taken to a hospital. Firefighters tell us a second person was reported missing, and Virginia State Police search and recovery team divers are now out there assisting the sheriff's office. Crews back out on the scene. They're continuing that search this afternoon. Getting around on the roads is pretty tough right now in parts of Greene County.
Rough going. Close to a dozen roads are closed this afternoon, and that includes Route 33, where a major mudslide is causing big problems. NBC29's Pete DeLuca has our team coverage. He's continuing that live from that scene. Hi, Pete.
Yeah, hey there, Sharon. That massive mudslide is near Swift Run Gap, and all of that rainfall overnight has caused flooding all throughout the county. We're here along Route 33, where you can take a look at just how bad this flooding is. It's still pouring down the mountain, and look just how deep some of these craters are from that water just streaming down. Now, VDOT Communications Director Lou Hatter says 10 to 12 roads are currently closed due to flooding. Greene County Sheriff Steve Smith tells me multiple bridges, including all 3 in Mutton Hollow, are currently closed. Both organizations are on scene at that mudslide, loading dump trucks with mud and removing it.
A lot of the back roads are completely covered. The bridges are covered. Some of the bridges are completely washed out. And we're asking people not to try to cross any area that is covered with water because you can't see. A lot of the pavement has been dislodged, and there's sinkholes, and it's just a lot deeper than what it looks.
Now, VDOT says power is out in a number of locations throughout the county. Both VDOT and the Sheriff's Office say most roads will be closed until at least later this evening. They are anticipating more rain throughout the day and throughout the night and say that things could get much worse. The sheriff says his office is currently working to rescue at least one family at this time. He says both he and VDOT are urging people to just stay home and don't try and drive through these roadways, and especially do not try and drive through water, because no matter how shallow it looks, you just have no idea what is underneath of it.
You don't, and even if you're on a roadway that looks like it's okay, be careful, because there could be big craters down the way in front of you that you can't even see from where you are. All right, Pete DeLuca in Greene County for us this afternoon, where again a major mudslide is causing big issues, and he mentioned Dominion crews are right now trying to restore power to hundreds of homes in central Virginia. We have a look at the outage map for Dominion. Dominion reports a little more than 400 people in Albemarle County are in the dark right now. Rappahannock Electric Cooperative, which services Greene County, is also reporting 539 people without power in that area. Albemarle County Service Authority crews are working to get the water service restored to people in the northern part of the county. The authority tweeted these photos: floodwaters damaged a major water line, cutting off most of the area north of Hollymead Town Center. Crews are hoping, though, to install a bypass connection around the damaged line to get the water flowing to customers again. We are expecting a news conference about 1 o'clock where the authority is planning to update us on those repairs and exactly when that water might be restored to the area.
Several parks and trails in Charlottesville and Albemarle County are closed this afternoon due to damage from the overflowing Rivanna River. Both Azalea and Riverview parks are closed right now. Crews at Azalea are cleaning up mud and debris from flash flooding, but the city hopes to reopen the park by 3 o'clock this afternoon. Parks and Rec officials say the flooding over at Riverview is the worst they've seen in 30 years. The water is covering most of the swing set, as you see there, and the picnic tables. There's even an actual current from the Rivanna River you see there running through the park. Parks and Rec says it will have to wait for those water levels to go down before any cleanup can begin. Albemarle County is still assessing its parks, but right now Chris Green Lake and Darden Tow are closed. A flood warning now extends through mid-afternoon for central Virginia and the Valley. We want to take a live look over downtown Charlottesville. As you see here, we've seen some peaks of sunshine this morning, but don't let your guard down. Don't let it fool you. More rain is on the way. Storm Team 29 meteorologist Josh Fitzpatrick has a look now at what we can expect. Good afternoon, Josh.
Hi there, Matt. And the last thing we want to see actually is sunshine, because the sun will help to further destabilize the atmosphere, causing more showers and downpours to form. Here's the latest from the National Weather Service. They have extended the flood warnings for a few more hours for central Virginia and into parts of the valley. For Albemarle County, the city of Charlottesville, including Crozet as well. A flood warning continues until 3:45, and for portions of Orange, Madison, Greene, and Culpeper counties until 1:45, and for areas south and east of the Harrisonburg area, northeast of Charlottesville, and also into Stanton up to 3 o'clock this afternoon. There's a flood warning that continues, but if more downpours form, these warnings could be extended further into this evening. But right now, our exclusive dual pole triple Doppler radar isn't showing much. A couple of light showers over the valley, but in this type of weather pattern, you can go 15 minutes and get a downpour. Here's a radar picture of the last 24 hours, and between 3 o'clock and midnight, there were multiple waves of showers and downpours, especially on the west end of Charlottesville into Crozet. This area picked up a summer's worth of rainfall in just a few hours. So today, we're on that tropical downpour watch with highs in the 80s. All right, I'll have an update through the weekend forecast, what you can expect in just a few minutes. Sharon, Matt.
Okay, thank you, Josh. New at noon, state police are investigating a fatal accident on Interstate 64 in Albemarle County. Troopers say a car collided with a tractor trailer in the westbound lanes near the Ivy exit just before 7:30 this morning. One person died. Police have not released the victim's name. The interstate lanes are back open to traffic this afternoon. On the Crime Watch this afternoon, jury deliberations are about to begin at any moment in a Charlottesville murder trial. They will need to determine if 41-year-old Gregory Fitzgerald committed first-degree murder in the shooting death of 43-year-old Bobby Reveau. In this morning's closing arguments, prosecutors told the jury to trust a man who was involved in a drug deal with Reveau the night of that shooting on Run Street. They say he knew details about the shooter and the weapon. that hadn't been released publicly. The defense argues the witness is lying, saying if he fled the state out of fear after the shooting, why would he leave his family behind? We will bring you the jury's decision as soon as it comes into our newsroom.
The trial for a Louisa County man is on hold after he requested to switch to a jury trial. Kelly Clark Jr. is accused of trying to kill a sheriff's deputy after he crashed his car on Louisa Road in 2016. He was supposed to have a jury trial, but then last week, investigators say he decided he wanted a bench trial. That means a judge would rule on the case. That trial was supposed to start Monday, but now Clark says he wants to go back to a jury trial to decide his fate after all. A hearing is set for June 25th. Hearings are scheduled for next week after 9 animals were seized from 2 farms in Louisa County. We talked with the son of one of the owners who claims his parents are innocent. Animal Control received a phone call last April saying 4 horses on a farm were not being fed. Animal Control says it tried to work with the owners by telling them to increase the feed. After another call last week, they went out, determined the horses were malnourished, and seized them. The family believes a proper investigation was not conducted, and they should have been alerted about that seizure.
We're not required to give any notice, and actually it would work against us if we did give notice of an intent to seize.
I know for a fact they've been fed because I've been feeding them.
Seizure hearings for both of these animal welfare cases are scheduled for June 5th. A cattle dog is corralling the herd despite his disability.
Patton has become quite an attraction for his herding prowess on the farm in North Dakota. We will show you just how he gets around.
On the alert for possible new flash flooding later on today into this evening. I'll have your hour-by-hour forecast next. Well, we have a break in the widespread rain right now. Hello, I'm NBC29 meteorologist Josh Fitzpatrick. Looking back at yesterday, officially at the McCormick Observatory in Charlottesville, we've picked up a little bit more than 3 inches of rainfall. It was highly variable with the rain yesterday. So far for the month of May, almost 9 inches of rain. That puts it at the 6th wettest May on record so far in Charlottesville. And we have more rain on the way. Here's a look at where it did rain over the last 24 hours. A lot of this fell last evening. This is a Doppler estimation of the rainfall amounts. And notice the H in Charlottesville, west on 250 there, 9 inches of rain. That is a summer's worth of rain, folks, in just a matter of a few hours. So no wonder we're dealing with those high water issues all across northern Albemarle County, Earlysville, north into areas of Greene, Madison, Culpeper counties from the Blue Ridge Mountains, and about 15 miles to the east. That's where we had that southeast wind going up the mountains, just wringing out those clouds, getting us all that tropical moisture. Then all that rain came down the mountainside, and the rainfall amounts weren't as heavy or prolific as they were to the east into the valley. Still, through tonight, a flash flood watch remains for especially north of I-64, but basically any area that received a downpour can receive some high water issues. And right now the Doppler radar is pretty quiet, a couple of spotty little showers popping up, but it's mainly between 3 and 8 o'clock. That's our next best chance for some more showers and thunderstorms. The risk for severe weather when it comes to high winds and hail looks to stay to our west over the Ohio Valley, but some of that moisture may try to cross over the mountains into this evening. So Futurecast shows at 1 o'clock some of these scattered showers and storms begin to develop into this evening too, and then after sunset they begin to fade away. Some patchy fog or quiet on Friday morning, and then Friday afternoon between 3 and 8 o'clock another risk for a shower and thunderstorm. Maybe not quite as widespread, but any downpour once again can cause some high water issues. So highs today before any downpour in the upper 70s to the low and mid 80s for Central Virginia, upper 70s, low 80s for the valley. And for tonight, a shower and storm through about sunset, and then they'll begin to fade away. Lows about 70 for a large part of the area. But check out tomorrow, 90 degrees for Charlottesville, Lake Monticello to Dillwyn, and you combine that with the humidity, it's going to feel even hotter than that. Your Michael and Son 7-day forecast is indicating, yes, another risk for a shower and storm Friday into Saturday and Sunday. Not all day rains, but at least a half hour to an hour shower and thunderstorm is possible. And then we finally may break out of this pattern as we go into next week. But yes, we still have another few days and evenings of these showers and storms, and the ground is so wet it won't take much more to cause some new high water issues. So we'll have updates all day long here and also on NBC29 mobile and .com.
Yeah, that's an incredible amount of rain, how powerful all that water really was.
1 inch of rain over 1 square acre is more than 27,000 gallons of water.
Wow.
Such a dangerous situation too
Yeah.
now out there, even after the rain has stopped. And I know we're expecting more, but just the pictures that we're seeing online on social media of roads completely washed out,
Yeah,
big
the pavement's
huge
gone. Yep.
yeah, sinkholes. So when you do get out and about, please.
We want to update a situation we told you about just a little bit ago with the water line that has been out of service and cut off people to water in northern Albemarle County because of all the flooding. There is now a boil water advisory for Albemarle Service Authority customers in northern Albemarle County.
Yeah, crews are out working. They're trying to bypass the broken water main that happened because of course, all the flooding. In the interim, though, if you do have water, you need to make sure to boil it before you utilize it. And I'm sure as soon as the water gets turned on, they usually issue those boil water notices. So a lot of people probably still without water, but if you do have water in that area north of Hollymead in the northern part of Albemarle County, make sure that you boil the water.
And we are expecting a press conference at 1 o'clock as
That's
well
right.
from the Albemarle County Service Authority with the latest on that.
All right.
Well, Patton is not your average farm animal.
With 2 legs and 2 wheels, this cattle-chasing dog is almost always found leading the pack. NBC's Cynthia McLaughlin introduces us to Patton.
NBC29 HD News at Noon continues.
It's a wild day in central Virginia. Right now, crews are searching the Ivy area of Albemarle County for a couple swept away in floodwater during last night's heavy rain.
Albemarle County's fire chief says that car was repeatedly tossed and overturned in that water. We are also receiving some reports the crews on scene may have recovered 1 body involved in this. NBC29's Taylor Gleason is live on the scene in Ivy where this is all happening right now. Taylor?
Well, our partner, the Daily Progress, is now reporting that a body has been found near Ivy Creek. We are waiting for fire and rescue, of course, to confirm this information for us this afternoon. We are here on the top of Old Ballard Road. Behind us, you can see the scene is blocked off, and that is blocked off to everyone specifically for their safety. That's because Ivy Creek has completely flooded over, and the roadway is now subject to giving way to that water. Now, Albemarle County Fire Department says that Ivy Creek swelled over the roadway, grabbing the Prius and another vehicle around 9:30 last night. A man and woman believed to be Albemarle County residents climbed out of the Prius but were swept away by the water. The occupant in the second vehicle did escape and was rescued. Albemarle County rescue teams were assisted with crews from Lynchburg and did locate that vehicle. And they also stress for people living in flooded areas, do not drive through roadways that are covered with water. You need to turn around, do not drown. Rescue teams are expected to be out here looking for that missing couple for the rest of the day until they can get more information. Back to you.
Of course, continue to follow NBC29 on Twitter. We'll have all the updates there. Taylor Gleason in Ivy for us with the latest on that search there. There's also a search going on right now for a missing woman in flooding in Madison County. The sheriff's office says it got a call around 8:30 last night with a report of a woman in the water who could not be found. Ruckersville Volunteer Fire Company was among the first responders called to assist with this water rescue. It's in the Syria section of Madison County. Those crews say they were able to rescue 1 person who was taken to a hospital. Firefighters tell us a second person was reported missing. That's presumably the woman that state police are now out there searching for. There's a state police search and recovery team. The divers are out there assisting the sheriff's office. Crews are continuing that search again for a missing woman in flooding in Madison County.
And of course, this flooding is causing all kinds of other issues as well. For instance, water is out for a lot of folks up in North Albemarle County, just south of Greene, up in the Hollymead area. And they're working right now to bypass a water main that broke during the flooding. What you're seeing right now is a boil water advisory for a lot of the people who live in that area, because although some people are without water, a lot of people do have water and it may not be safe to use, and so they are advising people to please boil your water.
Yeah, that area in red there, anything from Hollymead Town Center north, basically along Route 29, any customers of Albemarle County Service Authority are urged to boil any water used for cooking or drinking until further notice. So that is once your water actually comes back on. We are expecting a press conference from the Service Authority at 1 o'clock, where we hope to get some new information about just how long that boiled water advisory may last.
And water outages aren't the only issue. We also have power outages. We reported just a little bit less than, I believe, 1,000 people in the area. When you're talking about Dominion crews, they are out working to restore power to about 400 people at last count, and about 500, a little bit less than 550 on the co-op.
Rappahannock Electric,
the collective. So we are keeping an eye on both the water situation, the rescue situation, and the power outages. Stay with NBC29 for all of that. Well, a government study is shedding light on unmarried couples who live together. Researchers found cohabitating men and women have less. Are also more likely to have become sexually active at a young age. Many cohabitating couples say they think living together before marriage will help prevent divorce. New data from the U.S. Army finds many military members injured in Iraq and Afghanistan were not hurt in combat. That data shows about 1/3 of all injuries and 11% of deaths were from falls, motor vehicle crashes, and equipment accidents. The research comes from a study of nearly 30,000 service members who were injured in Iraq and Afghanistan from 2003 to 2014. A 12-year-old Michigan boy is fighting back against a rare disease and inspiring a lot of adults along the way. NBC's Frank McGeorge introduces us to Ian Krigo.
12-year-old Ian Krigo isn't afraid to march to the beat of his own drummer. Dealing with a rare disease can have that effect on a child.
He really rose to the occasion. I feel like it's maybe made him stronger.
It was late 2016 when Mom Julie first noticed something wasn't right.
Ian's hair was lying kind of funny, and I thought he got a bad haircut. So I went and looked at his head, and I noticed he had a bald spot that was about the size of a nickel.
A dermatologist diagnosed it as eczema, but it didn't get better. Then a bruise-like spot appeared on Ian's forehead.
And I kept asking Ian, did you bump your head?
Their doctor wasn't overly concerned, but Julie was.
To me, it was just too unusual. Being the type of person I am, you don't sit on that. You get a second opinion.
They found Dr. Tor Schwader, head of pediatric dermatology at Henry Ford Hospital.
He diagnosed him right away with linear scleroderma and coupe de sabre.
The word scleroderma comes from the Greek words for hard and skin.
Scleroderma is a disease where the skin gets thick and tight and bound down.
There are different forms, but untreated, all of them can damage the skin and structures underneath.
Fortunately, in Ian's case, we did catch it early.
Ian has undergone a variety of treatments, including twice-weekly phototherapy.
Photons go into the skin. They tell the cells that are acting incorrectly to stop that and to normalize.
Ian hears lots of questions about his disease.
The scarring, I think, kids will ask questions a lot, and he's had a couple incidences where people were less than kind about it, but he's great. He responds, you know, it's a disease.
But he's also helping educate another group, medical students at Wayne State University.
He talked to 8 different groups of 20 to 30 second-year medical students and did a really good job telling his story.
I was a little nervous, to be honest. I asked if it hurt, or I think one guy asked if it stopped me from doing things.
For the record, it doesn't hurt, and the only real limitation is needing to protect himself from the sun. Ian and his family will be walking in this year's Stampede Scleroderma Walk to raise awareness and money for research. Ian says it's important for everyone to learn more about scleroderma.
So next time they come across someone with it, it'll be easier to help them out and know what to do.
Our guest today from the Senior Center is local historian Rick Britton, here to talk with us about a trip to Paris, France this fall, and perfectly Charlottesville. It's focused on Thomas Jefferson and his time as an envoy to Paris.
Absolutely. This coming October, the 18th to the 26th, the Senior Center is taking a group to France, and it's a Thomas Jefferson in Paris tour. Jefferson was minister there, minister plenipotentiary between 1784 and 1789, and historians argue that they're the 5 most memorable years of his life. He absolutely fell in love with Parisian culture, Parisian architecture, Parisian food, Parisian sculpture. So this tour is going to be focused on the things that he loved there. So we're going to see, we've got a whole day tour of the neighborhoods that he lived in, the architecture that he loved that's still extant, of course. We're spending an entire day at Versailles.
We actually just saw a picture of Versailles.
Oh, that's
there
great.
In the Louvre,
a half a day at the Louvre. We're taking a cruise down the Seine, starting at the Eiffel Tower. I'm going to give 4 talks. I'm heading up the tour. I'm going to give 4 talks about Jefferson's time there in Paris. It's going to be just a fantastic trip.
What do you think the biggest takeaway people will experience from learning about Thomas Jefferson and his time in Paris?
To me, the biggest thing is how much the French architecture, the new French architecture at the time, influenced him. So people familiar with Monticello will learn that he brought back skylights, alcove beds, water closets, all kinds of items, revolving serving doors, all kinds of things he brought back from France.
So with October fastly approaching here, you need to get your passport and also need to plan all of this. You do not have to be a Senior Center member, though, to take part.
Thanks. No, you don't have to be a Senior Center member. That's great. Yeah, thanks for saying that.
How much, people always want to know about the cost, of course, to start saving right now.
It's right around $4,000. So it's actually a pretty good deal, and that covers everything, including the plane trip both ways, the accommodations, the tours.
Excellent. You can contact the Senior Center for more information.
That's right, and the people at the Senior Center Travel Office, 974-6538.
I just got back from Paris a couple of weeks ago, and
great.
I'd like to go back, so I might be giving you a call.
Do that.
Absolutely beautiful. Rick, we appreciate your time stopping by here.
Thanks for having me.
We'll be right back with a check on your forecast next.